shown us exactly who they are and what's really important to them. We had one of the most violent weekends across the country that I've ever seen. You had a teenager killed in my hometown, Aurora, Colorado, at a Juneteenth rally. You had a black person killed in the communist utopia of Chaz or CHOP or whatever they're calling it. You had a shooting outside of the Wendy's that burned to the ground in Atlanta where Rayshard Brooks was killed. You had a mass shooting in Charlotte, North Carolina. You had a mass shooting in Minneapolis, uptown, not the hood, uptown. And that's on top of the 56 plus people shot in Chicago. Now, these are just the stories I know about. We don't need to name St. Louis, Memphis, Detroit, Baltimore, and the rest of the cities because we already know what happened there over the weekend and every weekend for that matter. So with all of this gun violence, where are the gun control advocates? With all of the black people shot and killed, where is Black Lives Matter? Where's Al Sharpton? Where's Shaun King? Where are all the self-righteous, virtue-signaling, affluent Hollywood leftists? Oh, that's right. They're focused on the size of Trump's rally. That's the big news story. The fact that they're taking a victory lap because Trump couldn't fill an arena in a red Republican state during the middle of a pandemic where they're fanning the flames, got people fearful, shut down the economy. So many people who travel from outside of the state to go to Trump rallies couldn't even show up if they wanted to. They had protesters outside intimidating, threatening people, blocking the entrance. And they're making it sound like this is some indictment on Trump. America's turning its back on him. He's not going to win in November. You had Biden landslide trending on Twitter. That's hilarious. You mean the same Joe Biden that can't string together a full sentence? The same Joe Biden that has zero enthusiasm, couldn't fill a high school gymnasium if he tried? The people who watch Joe Biden, any event he ever does, doesn't know what he's saying, and neither does he. There's just no enthusiasm whatsoever around Joe Biden, and they don't have a single competent candidate that can go toe-to-toe with Trump. That's the reality of it. Also, the reality is they don't want people focused on the substance of what Trump talks about at his rallies, which is how incompetent these factories of sadness, which are Democrat cities, are. These cities have been run by Democrats top to bottom for at least half a century, and this is where you have lawlessness, violence, chaos, breakaway republics, statues being torn down, people being killed, people being robbed. I mean, these are Democrat strongholds. And yet somehow they would have you think that the biggest news story is the fact that Trump had to fold up the extra outdoor seating he had because nobody wants to show up in a red state that will probably vote for him by a wide margin over sleepy, creepy, sloppy, corrupt Jim Crow Joe Biden. You know, these people are disgusting. It just sickens me, man. Like, you had a lot of American citizens killed over the weekend. They claim they care about people. They just want the best for us, right? And when we have all this violence, they go radio silent. I'll tell you this right now. Every time that there's a shooting and you don't see the gun control advocates, you don't see Black Lives Matter, you don't see any of the familiar faces that like to push agendas, ask yourselves, what color was the shooter? What color were the victims? Because we know color is king to the left. So if you don't hear anything about it, chances are they weren't able to exploit the crisis for their own political gain. As sad as it is, the veil has been lifted, so people know who they are. And let's just hope that they vote accordingly in November.